Go ahead.
By show of hands, how many of you have been or how many of you know someone who's been a victim of a crime? Okay, that's a lot. How many of you would feel safe walking down a street alone at night? How many of you already do it? You go ahead, Adrian. You can skip that one. Okay, keep going. Okay. No, 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 don't do it. Don't ever do it, okay? It's a terrible, terrible idea. Bad audience. As you look around the room with the show of hands, you can see that crime doesn't really discriminate. Sometimes it can take as little as being in the wrong place at the wrong time or not having knowledge about the situation, about your situational awareness, to become the next victim of a crime. With the knowledge presented here, you will learn how to remove yourself from a potentially harmful situation and how to protect yourself from future victimization. I'm a former journalist, having worked for NBC, saw crimes daily, and there was always something that the victim could have done to prevent becoming that victim of a crime. You'd be surprised, Phoenix, due to per population, the crime rate isn't that high, but we still have one of the highest crime rates. And I think in the news, I at least did one homicide a day at the very minimum, and there's lots of active serial killers, in case you weren't aware. So there's a lot of things that you don't know. And actually, the FBI said that there were 1.1 million violent crimes in 2014, and that's only the reported crimes. They think that number would be a lot higher if it was reported, for the undocumented cases. Also spent some time, 8 years in the military, doing a lot of hand-to-hand combat, disarming weapons scenarios, working with SF and the Rangers. So I had a lot of good experience and a lot of really crazy dudes teaching me some pretty interesting stuff. Seen a lot of friends lose their lives to home invasions and violent crimes over the years, which has been kind of taught to learning the hard way. And actually, my friend this week, she had her SUV stolen from her driveway. For a couple minutes, she decided to go out to her car and left her keys and purse in her car for literally 3 to 5 minutes, and went outside, her entire SUV, everyone's gone. So, don't give a criminal the opportunity to take your property or take your life. You can just go ahead. You should make a conscious effort to, try and avoid becoming a victim of a crime. These are some of the crimes that happen: vandalism, violence, bike theft, burglary, car theft. They all suck. You don't want it to happen to you. You treat your property and treat your items as a weapon. Something I always use day to day, like especially with my son. He's 4.5. Like, he doesn't listen to anything I say. So I always try to keep my personal items or property within like an arm's reach if it's not secured. If it's not properly secured, you need to have a handle on it. That way, if an emergency happens, it only takes you a few seconds to recover your item. So we'll be talking about self-defense in 3 parts: hand-to-hand combat, situational awareness, and daily tips. Are you feeling confident already? As I go through each topic and tip, please put a tick mark for each tip that you feel like you follow on a daily basis or you use actively. Put an X for every tip you do not use. At the end, we'll kind of tally up and do like a quick audience survey. Go ahead. Fight, flight, avoidance, self-defense tactics. The notion of fight or flight is considered a fear response and describes the behavior of various animals, humans, when they are threatened. Or if they're hanging around to fight or taking off to escape danger. Some people even freeze, fight, showing aggression as flight is running in the opposite direction, and avoidance is keeping your distance and waiting to see what the other person is going to do. Next one. Self-defense. Prevention is the best self-defense. Prevention is always the best self-defense. Avoidance. Attackers are always looking for an unsuspecting, vulnerable target. As soon as the attacker touches you, it's clear escape isn't avoidable. Shout loudly and push back. This does 2 things. It signals for help, and it lets the attacker know that you're not an easy target. A former trainer of Nelson Mandela's bodyguard says it may not dissuade all attackers, but getting loud will warn off those looking for easy prey. Go back one. These are the most effective body parts to hit. When in confrontation, you only have a few seconds or a few moves to try before the fight. You know, you may be left behind in the fight. So, go ahead. Conserve energy and inflict energy so you can get away. Aim where you can do the most damage. The nose. Well, that's the eyes and nose. Next one. The nose. You know, you can always shove it up pretty quickly. When striking the upper body, use your hand. Effective strikes can be made with the outer hand, you know, the outer hand knife edge. What's that? Okay. You can do the knee. Keep going. Personal safety plan. You always need to have a personal safety plan, backup plan, emergency plan. You know, you never know who's standing behind you. Always have an exit plan. You can always have your keys in your hand too. Like that's something I like to do when I'm walking to my car or if I'm like hiking alone. I always have some sort of something that